my time, and I feel in my prime, and I enjoy this kind of moments. I feel I'm in my prime. I feel more confident, more strong, and everything.
I honestly believe today nobody can beat Canelo Alvarez.
Breaking news, Canelo Alvarez tells Bivol, no rematch. He warns him that he would not get the rematch if he loses to Ramirez.
I think Ramirez has a lot of chance to win, and I want him to win. Why not support him?
Do you still want the rematch with Bivol?
He lost now.
If Surdo wins, you want Surdo?
No, I don't wanna fight with Mexican. I represent Mexico, so.
The way Canelo Alvarez is talking, he making it sound like he the one that beat Bivol, not the other way around. I mean, it really doesn't matter if Bivol loses to Ramirez or not. The facts will still remain the same. Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez every single minute of every single round they fought. It was that type of a fight. Bivol beat the soul out of Canelo Alvarez. Therefore, Canelo Alvarez's redemption has nothing to do with Ramirez. That's his own business that he has to handle with his own hands. Unless he knows that he could never beat Bivol. That's why he delayed the inevitable by turning down the rematch, not activating the rematch clause that he had, hoping that someone will come along and beat Bivol so he can find an excuse not to fight Bivol again. Which, like I predicted, Bivol was going to beat Canelo in a cherry pick gone wrong. I also predicted that Canelo was going to find a way out of the rematch with Bivol. And that's exactly what Canelo Alvarez did. Canelo went from claiming he's chasing legacy to turning down a rematch with the man that beat him. Bivol even was willing to fight Canelo at 168, the exact division Canelo claims is his best division. Even then, Canelo still turned down the rematch with Bivol. Now, what part of chasing legacy is that? Since when turning down a rematch with the man that beat you is a part of chasing legacy? Since when ducking redemption is chasing legacy? After all, that's what Canelo and old media stay claiming Canelo is doing. Instead, the reality is Canelo Alvarez is fighting a 40 years old Gennady Golovkin that came off a bad performance, who's also moving up in weight. So the truth is, Canelo is not chasing legacy. He's making up legacy while burying his failures in the dirt. His true legacy, the loss to Floyd Mayweather and Bivol, the robbery to Lara, taking steroids against Gennady Golovkin in a controversial win, ducking everybody from Demetrius Andrade to Charlo to Benavidez, and last but not least, turning down the rematch with Bivol. Instead of going for redemption, he went for duck seduction. This is actually reminiscent to when Canelo lost to Floyd. He stayed quiet as a church mouse. He never called out Floyd Mayweather again. He never demanded a rematch with Floyd Mayweather until Floyd Mayweather retired. As soon as Floyd Mayweather retired, 2 years later, after Floyd Mayweather retirement, all of a sudden, here it goes Canelo Alvarez calling out Floyd Mayweather for a rematch. However, when Floyd Mayweather was active the entire time, Canelo was as quiet as a church mouse, which further proves Canelo never wanted the Floyd Mayweather rematch, just like he doesn't want the rematch with Bivol today. History often repeats itself. Remember, after Canelo lost to Floyd, he actually created an NBF league in the sport of boxing, where Canelo is the pioneer of the NBF, No Black Fighters Witness Protection franchise. Canelo really took the Floyd Mayweather loss to the heart because he made sure he avoided every undefeated Black American fighter since then, which that was nearly a decade ago. Canelo have yet to fight the Fabulous Four of his time, the Charlos, the Andrades. So we all know Floyd Mayweather stripped Canelo of all of his confidence when he destroyed him back when they fought. Fast forward to present day, now Canelo Alvarez is hoping someone else will beat Bivol. like a Beterbiev or Ramirez, so he don't have to fight Bivol again. Canelo Alvarez is really out here praying that Beterbiev or Ramirez will save him from this nightmare named Bivol. I mean, think about it. If Floyd Mayweather lost to Pacquiao, does that mean Canelo would not want to fight Floyd Mayweather again just because Pacquiao beat him? Absolutely not. Not if you are a real champion that wants redemption. Therefore, it's as clear as day. Canelo is not cut from that same cloth. He's cut from that save me cloth, where at this point, Canelo is begging to be saved. Canelo even said he hopes Ramirez beats Bivol. Why, if you may ask? So he don't have to fight Bivol and go through that nightmare again. This is why Canelo said, I want Ramirez to beat Bivol. In other words, Canelo wants Ramirez to do the job for him. But that's not even the best part. It gets better. Canelo said that if Ramirez beats Bivol, then he is not gonna fight Bivol, nor Ramirez. He's not fighting either or. Why, if you may ask? Well, according to Canelo Alvarez, he doesn't want to fight his own people. He doesn't want to fight another Mexican fighter, which is so ironic because Canelo didn't say that when he fought Josecito Lopez and Angulo, even Chavez Jr. All of a sudden, when it's time for Canelo to fight the best Mexican fighters, such as Benavidez and Ramirez, now Canelo wants to claim he doesn't fight Mexican fighters. So what was Chavez Jr.? Italian? What was Angulo and Josecito Lopez? They weren't Mexicans? Or maybe Canelo only recognizes a fighter as a Mexican, is if he's a threat. However, if he's not all of that, C, D, or a bum level fighter, it's okay. Even if he's Mexican, Canelo will fight them. The only time Canelo won't fight a Mexican fighter is if the Mexican fighter has enough talent where he may beat Canelo, such as Benavidez and Ramirez. Can you guys imagine if roles were reversed? If Errol Spence came out and said, I'm not fighting Terrence Crawford because I don't want to fight another Black American fighter. I don't want to fight my people. I don't care if it's the fight of the decade, whatever, so on and so forth. I'm not fighting another Black American fighter, even though Errol Spence already fought plenty of Black American fighters in the past. Man, you best believe the media will chop him up for saying that. However, of course, Canelo has the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection. I mean, what happened to the classic Mexican legendary wars such as Barrero, Morales, Marquez, so on and so forth? Well, Canelo killed that rich history tradition. Now, if Canelo killed this tradition, if he don't want to fight another Mexican fighter, however, he goes out there and fight the best Black American fighters and the best fighters out there, period, then that will be completely fine. However, it's the complete contrary. Canelo will duck the best Black American fighters. He created the NBF League in the sport of boxing. No black fighters. He been ducking Charlo and Andrade for the past 8 years till this day. Canelo has been ducking the best Black American fighters. Now he's ducking the best European fighters, such as Bivol and Beterbiev. And of course, Canelo been ducking the best Mexican fighters, such as Benavidez and Ramirez, his own people. Therefore, it's a fact at this point, Canelo Alvarez is ducking pretty much the best of anything from any culture. I mean, it's really getting bad for Canelo. He's ducking the best Black American fighters, the best Mexican fighters, and now the best European fighters. The only way a fighter can get a Canelo Alvarez fight is that he has to be B, C, D, or F level. This is the top of competition Canelo Alvarez has been fighting his entire career. B, C, or D level. Canelo only fought Bivol by accident where he thought Bivol was sweet, like the rest of the European fighters he fought. Come to find out, it was a cherry pick gone wrong because Bivol is the real deal. That's why after Canelo found out, he messed up big time by miscalculating a cherry that can bite back. So after Canelo came to that realization, he ended up ducking the rematch with Bivol instead of activating his rematch clause. He chose to fight a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin instead. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe below, and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, TV. Peace. And I'm on to the next one.